Hello, everybody. Captain Marty Brill here. It's Friday, October the 17th. The weather is improving. Whether you're a deer hunter or a speckled trout fisherman or even an offshore fisherman, we're going to get back to action, I think, this weekend. I'll tell you all about that and more when I come right back.
Hi, I'm Captain Jay Cudworth of the Kokomo with Paradise Dolphin Cruises at Safe Harbor Marina in Wanchese. I want to invite you to take a ride out on the Roanoke Sound to see the majestic bottlenose dolphins up close. As a native, I'll be telling you stories from these waters as a boy growing up in Wanchese. Nature and history have combined to make this area unique, and I love sharing this special place with special people. So come on aboard with me and my crew and experience the real beauty of the Outer Banks. For more information, go online to ParadiseDolphinCruises.com. Again, this is Captain Jay. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Locally owned and operated since 1971, Billy's Seafood has been providing the locals and visitors of the Outer Banks with some of the freshest seafood you'll find. Not too far off the beaten path down Collington Road in KDH, Billy's Seafood has become a landmark for those seeking top-notch seafood at affordable prices. Billy's Seafood also has beer, wine, grandma's tuna salad, and other groceries as well. To see more, go online to billyseafoodobx.com. Billy's Seafood, putting fresh seafood on your table for over 50 years.
So offshore fishing, still blown out, but it won't be as long as it has been. Nobody out from any of our fleets in the ocean. However, I've talked to several captains as that wind is going to come back around out of the southwest finally, and I do feel like they're going to get out maybe Saturday, tomorrow, and get to do a little bit of fishing offshore, and they'll be starting with a blank slate. There's no idea after being blown out for a solid week. There's no idea what you're going to come up with. Could be really good, could be really hard. One thing about it though, I learned from John Bayless many years ago, when you get the big sea like we've had and everybody thinks, oh, you won't get out for days. When the wind comes back around out of the southwest, it doesn't take long at all for that sea to fall out. Of course, the biggest concern is always what's happening on the bar at Oregon Inlet, Hatteras Inlet, and Ocracoke Inlet. So a northeaster would be blowing right in to the mouth of Oregon Inlet. We've had a lot of northwest, but anyway, those guys will not push their luck. Never, ever would they do that. And I do think they're feeling pretty good about their chances for tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, the drum bite is on, piers, lots of good drum fishing in lots of size ranges too, not just those big drum, but some puppy drum, some yearling drum. I saw Pat Bracher out on the Avon Pier, I think it was. Pat is Arch Bracher's twin brother. Arch runs the Pelican. Those are two of the fishingest men I've ever known in my whole life. Known them both since they were boys. They fish all day on the Pelican sometimes, white marlin fishing, sail fishing in the August and September, and then go down and fish all night on the pier. Now, that's loving to fish. But of course, they haven't been having to do the charter boat stuff right now, so they're down on the pier fishing, whether it be Jeanette's Pier, Avon Pier. They everybody has their favorite piers, and it seems like that drum bite is moving on down the beach. I've been told, and I'm no drum expert, that the bite on Cape Point is going to be picking up and being kind of prime now. We're getting into the peak season of that, and I noticed the Hatteras Island piers are really kind of leading the way with the drum bite. So you got that going on. And there was also puppy drum and black drum. I mentioned the puppy drum. There's also some black drum caught in the surf in Buxton, along with the puppy drum, a scattered sea mullet. In Frisco, a nice mix that included the red drum and some bluefish. We heard big bluefish in several of the pier and surf reports. Now, these are the ocean fish I'm talking about, not the ones back in the sound. We'll get to that in just a moment when I come back.
Catch the vibe at Fish Head's Bar and Grill at milepost 18 and a half in South Nags Head on the Outer Banks Fishing Pier. Open through the Thanksgiving weekend, we are the Outer Banks hotspot for oceanfront dining and all the good times. Kick back with 40 beers on tap, a wide selection of wine and sake cocktails, and the famous happy hour shrimp daily from 4 until 6. Weekends come alive with live music while our open air pier setting offers unbeatable ocean views. Don't miss out. Your OBX adventure starts at fishheadsobx.com.
So on to the backcountry, back in the Pamlico Sound primarily right now. One of my favorite captains is Captain Rick Scarborough. I've known him also since he was a little boy. He has his guide boat, the Spectacular, and he guides out of down there out of Teachers Lair Marina, one of my longtime sponsors, and he's been doing well. Yesterday he had puppy drum and bluefish, limits of both. There's been a few speckled trout around. That bite seems to have slowed down a little bit, as has the big drum bite in the Sound. Not really sure why that is, but it's been good for a long time. But there's a couple other things to talk about. Let's give something else a little press time here. Little Bridge. You've been noticing all the people lined up middle of the day on Little Bridge. That's the bridge on the Manteo Nags Head Causeway, the smaller of the two bridges, thus the name Little Bridge. Been having several days of good speckled trout fishing there. Also, for a few days there was the only game in town, and the only place you could go and fish behind that concrete abutment there on that catwalk. Get out of the wind and catch a speckled trout or bluefish. And there was some other stuff, a few puppy drum being caught there. Really good spot to go and fish. And it's a funnel, a natural funnel that comes in there and goes under that bridge. And I don't care if they're elbow to elbow. Enough fish come through there is still a great spot to fish. It's also the perfect weekend for doing your wade fishing back of Hatteras Island, around Roanoke Island. Still water temperatures, like everything I saw on the surf, was 66 to 69 degrees. Back in the Sound, it's still plenty warm where you don't need waders yet, which means it's more comfortable. But, this is a good time as you're approaching the weekend to get your speckled trout rod out, get the local tackle shop to rig you up a popping cork, and get back there and do the peaceful, get a peaceful, easy feeling like the Eagles used to say. And go out there and cast and retrieve in knee-deep water, and you'll figure out where to go. I don't want to give away every last secret, but I will tell you that around the north end of Roanoke Island is good, and back of the Tri-Villages on Hatteras Island is a good spot to go. And then when you get on further down, I'm not as familiar with it, but I know there are places on Ocracoke where you can do that as well. Wade fishing is the most relaxing, most rewarding kind of fishing you can do, and especially in the fall when the speckled trout are biting. So keep all that in mind. That's pretty much our fishing report for you. Excuse me. Tomorrow is the opening day of the whitetail deer season, and we are really, really looking forward to that. The wind's going to come back around out of the southwest late in the day tomorrow after all this north wind, but the deer are moving. They're in full rut in Hyde County. I can tell you that right now. So be careful in the woods, be careful on the water, and have a great day, and may the good Lord bless you.